So the Miiverse like posing like this, right? And then you just tap the fist and you just go. Hey everybody, I'm Jammer. Nintendo just like had a surprise announcement on Twitter that a Nintendo Direct is coming this Wednesday, April 12th. So as always, donning the suit, I'm here today to give you my predictions
directly
to you. So they already kind of said what this Direct's going to be about. It's primarily going to be focusing on ARMS and Splatoon 2, while also touching on details regarding Nintendo Switch and 3DS games and blah 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 whatever. So we kind of know what to expect basically going into this, and especially since this is going to be the last Nintendo Direct before E3, because I mean it's 2 months away, which is insane. I cannot believe that thing snuck up so quickly. So more than likely, any really big announcement, new games, they're going to be saving it for E3. This Direct will kind of serve the purpose of explaining games that are going to come out before E3 or at and around E3, which I will get to later, of course. But again, like I said, I don't expect any huge brand new game announcements here. So let's just start off with the big games. Let's talk about ARMS first. So far, I mean, we don't know that much about this game. We actually know more about Splatoon 2, more than we do ARMS, and ARMS is supposed to come out before Splatoon 2. So basically, we have a lot of catching up to do. I'm assuming we're probably going to see, like, new characters, maybe like 4 or 5. 4 probably. 4 new characters, new stages, probably new fists, like equipable fists and stuff, like a different variant of like the new stuff. Or even similar to like those trailers that was a little bit ago where it explained how the fists work and stuff. I can see something similar happening within this game, or excuse me, within this Nintendo Direct. I also wouldn't be surprised if we saw some story details or even like single player content and what is available there. Like I bet you we'll see like what kind of modes are in the game, what can you do online besides just one-on-ones. Maybe there's like tournaments. Maybe there's like tag team fighting with co-op somehow, I don't know. They'll probably maybe touch on local multiplayer, and like I said, the story and the single player content. I think they're gonna have some sort of maybe challenge mode or something like that. And there'll be some sort of story, of course. Will they go all in the full details about it? I'm not sure. I mean, maybe we'll get at least a better understanding what these characters are and what their lives are about. And I'm assuming whatever this story mode is, we'll obviously tell that once we have the game, of course. Another thing I could definitely see them implementing is amiibo functionality. Either that being the ones that you can already have now, so maybe you scan in like a Mario and you'll get like the flame weapons, which are already in the game, but maybe they have like a Mario paint skin on it or something like that. Or let's say you scan in Link and the boomerang arms turn into, you know, what would look like the, what is it, the wind boomerang? What's it called? Gale boomerang? I think so. So I could see something like that, and then of course, actually, I could see actual ARMS specific amiibo, like a Spring Boy and Ribbon Girl amiibos. And what they could do, no clue. No idea. Hopefully it's not train them up and make them a computer fighter to fight. It'd be kind of boring. But I can see something with it. I don't know really what they really could do, but assuming ARMS takes off as they're hoping probably, I mean an amiibo would make a lot of sense. A ton of sense. Plus, I would love to have a Spring Boy amiibo. That'd freaking be awesome. I almost wondered, what if they, the amiibos actually have, like, real springs on the arms? So, like, you could kind of just go, like, you could hit them up and down, and they just, like... So the amiibo's, like, posing like this, right? And then you just tap the fist, and they just go... Then finally, I think they're going to talk about potential demo coming to ARMS. I think this would really benefit this game because a lot of people are really shaky on whether they want to get it. They're interested but never had a chance to play it. I mean, besides people who went to the preview events and stuff, they're the only ones really who've had an opportunity to play this. In order for fans to make an educated purchase, whether they want to buy this game or not, I think they really need an opportunity to play it. I think a demo would be perfect for this game. Whether it's like a test fire, kind of like Splatoon, I mean, potentially they could do something similar. I don't know necessarily if they need to do like an online fight, even if it was just like you play through a tutorial and then you have a couple of like matches against some CPUs and then the tutorial ends or something like that, just to kind of get used to the controls, you know, or whatever. I would love an online test fire or whatever, but again, I want to play the game on my own first and not fighting against other people before I want to go jumping right into an online match. I mean, I guess when Splatoon was first introduced, for that first test fire for the original Splatoon, there really was, I mean, they had that mini tutorial right at the end to teach you the controls. So I guess they could do something similar, I guess, where it's just like, you know, a quick controller tutorial and then jumps right into online matches. But I don't know, this game's a little more complex than a shooter, basically, third-person shooter. It's, especially with the motion controls, or even if you're trying to use the buttons, I have no idea how they're going to implement that. Perhaps they'll probably explain it in this Direct. So if they do have some sort of demo, and it is like an online versus or whatever, I would love something where you can practice a little bit offline before going online. Because I feel like if I just go straight to online, it'll just be like, I have no idea what's going on. An hour will pass, and then that's it. That's all my test fire, you know. Before I move on, ARM's release date, I think it's going to be the end of May, so it's going to have a month in between Mario Kart 8, because Mario Kart 8 comes out at the end of this month, and that's kind of when Splatoon came out. When did it come out? 2015? Yeah, summer of 2015. It was like last weekend of May, the Friday before Memorial Day weekend, I think, or maybe it was even the week before that, but it was like the last week of May, or one of the last weeks of May, and I can see the same thing going for ARMS, like a solid title to push us off into E3 and into the summer. So yeah, that's what I think about ARMS. The other big game is Splatoon 2 they're going to be talking about. First things first, release date. We're 120 jillion% getting a release date. When it is, I'm not sure. We've heard rumors it's going to be at the end of the summer. We've heard rumors all over the place. I don't think it's going to be at the end of the summer. That is way too long, especially because we've been seeing so much information about it recently. We've been seeing, I think, 3 or 4 almost stage reveals. No new weapons just yet, but I could definitely see, obviously, all that stuff be showed off in this direct. But I think if I had to give it a date, see, personally, I'd like to see it come out before E3. But if ARMS is coming out at the end of the May, why would they put Splatoon right there, like a few weeks after ARMS? They need to space it out. So more than likely, I could see it in the middle of the summer after E3. And I'm hoping if it is after E3, they don't have it playable at E3, because I already played it, and I'd rather be playing Mario Odyssey and other stuff like that, you know? I don't really need a booth to take up the space of playing Splatoon 2, you know? That's just my personal bias. If they do it, they do it, whatever. Of course, I'm going to check it out and play it, but I think that would, I don't know, that's what does make the most sense, kind of like right after E3, but at the same time, like, who releases games in the middle of the summer? No developer does it. It's always like right at the beginning, right at the end. And if ARMS is kind of fulfilling the slot of like the beginning summer title, Splatoon 2 kind of can't do that unless they want to steal sales, I guess, from ARMS, which I think they want it to be successful. I don't think they're going to want to trumpet immediately with Splatoon. I don't think they want to trumpet immediately with Splatoon 2. So it's a weird situation. You know what? Even at the end of the summer does make sense too, for, you know, the reason it's a back to school, whatever. But I'd rather. I still feel like we're gonna be playing it this summer. It just middle of summer just doesn't seem right. I don't know. It's so weird. But I know we're gonna see it tomorrow. We're gonna get probably a new weapon or two, even brand new to this game. We might see some gameplay of returning stuff again. Potentially even the Slosher and Splatling Junior. No. Splattershot? No, the Gatling gun. You know what I'm talking about. We'll probably see some the new modes of the game. So I definitely predict we're going to be seeing potentially the return of a few ranked match modes. Maybe tower control or splat zones, for example, and then maybe some new ones as well. I really hope, and I hope this is going to be a thing, where you can actually choose what mode you're going to play instead of the mode, like not only the stages on a rotation, but the modes on a rotation as well. I would love it to be where if I want to play Splat Zones, I can play Splat Zones. If I want to play or what was it? If I want to play Tower Control, I can play Tower Control. You know, there's no like, you know, come back in 2 hours to play the mode you want. Like that was, especially when it got towards the end of the Splatoon's life cycle, I'm like, well, I don't want to play Splat Zones anymore. I really want to play Tower Control, or I want to play the other one with the big rocket launcher. What the heck is that thing called? I don't remember. So I can see that definitely happening. Will all the modes be available right at launch? Potentially no. It could be similar to how Splatoon was, and they'll roll them out as they come. But I strongly hope and feel like there's going to have each mode selected on a menu, and it's a lot easier that way. And speaking of rotation, might as well touch on this now. I think stage rotation is going to come back. However, I hope that they're going to add at least 3 stage rotations, just because I'm assuming Splatoon 2 is going to have near to the amount of stages that Splatoon had, and towards the end of Splatoon's life cycle, when it had as many stages as it did, limiting it to only 2 selections was kind of a bummer, and it did get old even when the game first launched. I can understand why they might want to keep a stage rotation rather than you choosing stages, but I really hope that they're going to at least add more than just 2 in the rotation. There's got to be 3, maybe even 4, you know? I think we're going to see some details on the story mode. Probably not too much. Maybe just saying, you know, the Octarians are trying to get their revenge after you taking out DJ Octavian, blah, blah, blah. Maybe talk about the Squid Sisters and why, what's her name? Callie? Yeah, why Callie's dead, or whatever, I don't know. I can see something, just like maybe who the Captain Colorfish of this game is. Similar to the Splatoon Direct when that first happened, where it kind of like gave a brief, introduction of all the characters in this game, like go to Captain Cuttlefish to go to the story mode, go to this guy for the squid scales, or go to this guy for the hat shop, weapon shop. You know, I can see something very similar to that in this game as for this direct as well. I keep hitting my little buttons on like my armrest. I don't know if you guys hear. So, my apologies, I don't know why I can't do it, yeah. So, amiibo. So, they've already said that the current Splatoon amiibo are going to be compatible with Splatoon 2. I could see new amiibo being announced, whether that being, I don't know, Octarians, perhaps some new character. I don't know. They could make a Zapfish amiibo, maybe. I don't know. I could definitely see them adding some new amiibo. I don't know. I actually never messed around with the amiibo functionality in the original Splatoon, because I actually didn't end up getting these guys until honestly only a few months ago, to be honest. I haven't gone back to even play it yet. But I could see this functionality be very similar to how it was before, where you play some unique stages based on a certain weapon, and you can get exclusive clothing that you can then use to wear. And speaking of clothing, I think they're going to really describe how the clothing's going to work in this game, because there have been rumors, or maybe an update or something going along saying that like you can re-roll, yeah, it was a update, you can re-roll certain slots to be a different type of attributes on each weapon, or excuse me, each clothing. So I can see them explaining how that's going to work, and I guess sea snails, how sea snails are going to work in this game and how they work, I guess. I think that's everything Splatoon 2. I think, again, ARMS and Splatoon 2 are going to be the biggest focus of the direct, like they already mentioned. And then they just say at the end of the direct, or they don't say at the end, but at the end of the phrase, they also say they're talking about Nintendo Switch and 3DS stuff, or whatever. Let's finish off with Switch since we're already here. I could see them implementing some more, like, what's it called? I could even see them implementing some more features to the Switch, like the internet browser, maybe like talking about Netflix and Hulu apps and like that. Like, not that I don't think we need it right away necessarily, but maybe they could mention something about that. Obviously the biggest and most obvious thing is Virtual Console. Honestly, I don't know if they're going to talk about it just yet. Maybe, you know, it may, okay. The way it does make sense to say it now, because then they don't have to talk about it at E3. But I feel like if they're going to unveil the Virtual Console, they're going to want to talk about the online service, because for the reason that they have stated that if you pay for the online service, certain Virtual Console games are going to be free for that month and have online multiplayer implemented. So you can play like Balloon Fight online, which would be so cool. That'd be so much fun. So it gives me the impression that these two announcements are kind of linked, but it doesn't necessarily mean that has to happen. I mean, they could easily like launch the Virtual Console and be like, you know, you can play it today, you know, they always seem to do that in these directs. And if anything makes sense that they're gonna do that, I think Virtual Console will be the one to like be like, you can play it today type deal. I'm not going to totally bet and count on that just yet. I don't know, I just feel like they're gonna hold off a little bit longer for some odd reason, obviously, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel like they're gonna say it just yet. I don't know. I have no really way to back it, but I think as far as other Switch games, I really think it's just gonna be these two. I think they're gonna leave everything else Switch all on E3. They're gonna leave it all there. There was that rumor about Paper Mario or whatever. That's not happening. There's no way. And if it is, that's E3 news. That is not middle of April news, you know. I guess if they had to show off anything else Switch related, I could see the Breath of the Wild DLC that's coming out this summer, maybe a showcase of that. Just a quick thing showing off like Cave of Trials or whatever it is. Whatever the new map feature is, talking about just the hard mode briefly. I mean, it could be like a few minutes long, like 2 minutes or so, just talking about it just briefly, you know. They don't really have to talk about it. I could see that just being a random trailer that they just upload right before E3 or something along the lines of that. But if they want to do it in the direct, I mean, it could happen here too. Alright, now let's move on to Nintendo 3DS, which doesn't have a ton going for it, but it still has a pretty good amount of games that they still need to talk about. Like Fire Emblem Echoes, that comes out this month? I think that comes out later this month too, around the same time as Mario Kart 8. I mean, even though the whole thing's been leaked or whatever, they're obviously going to talk about it in a formal matter. They'll probably talk like the special edition, what comes with that, soundtrack, art book, whatever. They'll probably explain the game to, you know, more casual people, be like, tell why this game is a lot different than previous entries in Fire Emblem, especially previous entries on the 3DS. They'll explain some of that stuff. They'll probably talk about Amiibo support, obviously Almond Celica, see what they do. This is where it's interesting. So we know that the data mine came out about that, about what? Oh, the Amiibo functionality potentially indicating towards a female corn Amiibo. So here's the thing. they could talk about the corn amiibos and the fact that they could be compatible with this game. I don't know. I feel like it's not time to talk. If they're going to talk about those 3, they have to talk about them all in one go and when they're coming out. And, like, it's so weird because it's been so long with those things. So, like, when are they going to talk about it? It doesn't seem right for this Direct, but it's not E3 news. So it's like, when? I don't know. Maybe they should just blow it out of the water and try to talk about it now. I don't know. I'm really skeptical to see any sort of Smash Brothers news in this Nintendo Direct, especially regarding a Smash Bros. Switch port or whatever along the lines of that. So I'm not sure. It's weird. I mean, didn't Roy come out after Fates and they didn't talk about, or was Roy compatible with Fates? Maybe Roy wasn't. Oh, I can't remember now. But anyways, yeah, they'll kind of do a brief a deeper look at like the gameplay, the story, you know, and obviously reiterate the release date that I don't remember right now. Pikmin 3DS. This could be a time to talk about it. I'm not sure though. I feel like they might not talk about it, maybe leave it for E3. But honestly, from what we've seen, it does seem like it's going to be a Ziplash scenario where it's going to be a game we didn't ask for, and it's going to be kind of subpar. That's just, I don't know. I don't want to judge a book by its cover because, again, we haven't seen much of it. But we haven't even heard anything since its initial reveal. So who really knows what's going on with Pikmin 3DS right now? We could see more of the 12th, but I don't know. Maybe not. The other 2 games that they're going to talk about, or I guess 3. Let's start off first. Monster Hunter Cross Cross. That already came out in Japan a little bit ago, actually. Maybe a month-ish. No release date for America yet. They could definitely say here, Cross Cross is coming middle of the summer. I don't know. It could be really anywhere. I'm not really entirely sure. I would love to see a Monster Hunter on Switch, though. I don't think we're going to get it here. That'd definitely be an E3 news if we're ever going to be getting one. I mean, we will eventually, but it's a matter of when, not if. Yeah. I'd love to have Cross Cross on the Switch. Pfft, that'd be awesome. But no, more likely because it's already built for 3DS. It's on 3DS in Japan. They're just going to localize it over, and it makes sense to do that, of course. I don't think I'll personally get that one because I don't know. I just want it on the Switch so bad. I want a new Monster Hunter on the Switch. The other 2 games, right? So Lady Layton. That had a trailer a little bit ago, but we haven't heard much about it since. I think we'll get a release date for Lady Layton. I couldn't really put a thumb on it when. Probably before E3, maybe May. That could make some sense. So we'll see that. We'll see quick gameplay of that. We'll probably see, what was the other one at E3? Ever Oasis? Yeah, I think it was Ever Oasis. I think they'll talk about that too, because we haven't heard much about that since. And we'll probably see maybe a release date for that as well. But as far as 3DS, I think they'll probably just leave it at a cliffhanger saying, we have more games to announce at E3, so be sure to stay tuned or whatever. Because they do plan to continue the 3DS through at least this first year of the Switch. I think it really just depends how much the Switch sells in the first year, and whether or not they'll continue it the 3DS anyways, the following year, or whether they'll end it at the end of this year because the Switch is taken off. I'm not sure just yet. We really won't know what Nintendo's planning until, I mean, I think what they're waiting for too is just to see the sales figures for themselves and see if it makes sense to go full in on Switch or keep 3DS going for a little while, even make a successor for the 3DS itself. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense though, because you can literally, like, the Switch is a handheld, whether Nintendo wants to say it is or not. It is a handheld. But I think that is everything. That was a long list. They definitely have a lot they could there is a lot that they can talk about. But again, this is kind of going to be a direct where they're going to just wrap up everything they can before E3. So whatever announcements they don't really want to talk about at E3, which makes sense, they can get rid of it and get it out of the way here. So there'll probably be some other stuff I didn't touch on really, but I think those are going to be the main points of the direct. There'll probably be some indie stuff. SteamWorld Dig 2, I think that was the name of the game. Maybe some other indie stuff, what was it, Bit Trip Runner 3 on Switch, some other stuff like that, and you know. But yeah, definitely let me know in the comments, what do you guys think is going to happen on the 12th? What kind of game announcements are you looking forward to? As far as ARMS and Splatoon 2, what do you hope from that? I don't know. Definitely let me know in the comments there. Give this video a huge, awesome like, and if you haven't already, subscribe for tons on Nintendo. The coverage on the Direct, I'll probably be doing, or I know I'm going to be doing. I'm going to do my impressions, reaction, whatever, the day of the Direct. It might be a little bit after it airs, obviously, because I got to record, edit, all that stuff. And then also tomorrow, for those of you who come to the live streams at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern is the first part of our Undertale live stream. Please come join us. It'll be a lot of fun. I don't know much about the game, so I'm going to need your guys' help. So, yeah, I think that's everything for right now. So, yeah, thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.